Hi everyone, this is Sherry. Thanks for watching. I'm popping in today before I start the process video because I did want to kind of let you know what I'm doing. I'm actually doing a process video to submit for the SNL design team, and so I wanted to let you know kind of what I was doing before I jumped into the layout, because one thing that I like about the SNL design team is they do like a what is it called? Stash dive, excuse me, got tongue-tied. And I don't know if they'll continue with the new team, but I really thought, hey, that's a great idea. I have so much in my stash. So what I've done is I went through my stash and created kind of my own kit that I'm going to do on this layout. And so everything is from my stash. Nothing is new. Everything is product that I've had for some time, and I'm going to be using it. I'm going to be using this photo here to do a layout of my grandson. Not intending really for this to be a Valentine layout, more of just a kind of love. I don't know. It's kind of like, it's February. I'm in the pinky red kind of mood. This is actually a cut file. This was actually it's not really the negative, actually. I did use some of the hearts, but I might implement this in here somehow. I'm not exactly sure yet. And I have some of these papers in my stash, a crepe paper. This is a yeah, this is October Afternoon, but I thought it went well with it, just a piece of scrap. And then I have another piece of scrap here from Studio Calico. I thought that kind of went with it. Actually, I could use that as well. This is a crepe paper, and this is also from crepe paper, and both sides, I don't know if I'll do the floral, but I thought this side goes well as does this graph from crepe paper. And I'll probably use some of this side if I use that at all. So that's some of the papers that I'm going to be using. I pulled out some thickers from my stash. I have these glossy chipboard stickers, kind of like a silvery gray color. I have these older Pebbles stickers that are smaller. Might be able to use some of those. I have this cutout from the cut shop. I thought that was really cute. So I can't really say that's really old. I think I just cut that a couple weeks ago, but it is just something that I have in my stash. I have a few little embellishments here that I might pull from, and these are all things that I've had in my stash. And of course some labels, some older LE Studio tags, some enamel dots, a tag, some thread, just a few things that I pulled together here to kind of create my own kit. So this is definitely a stash dive layout for me. Everything is from my stash, and I love that idea because I have so much product. I really have a lot in my stash that I would love to get through, and so it kind of inspired me, just the design team call alone inspired me to like dig in my stash and pull out some things and do a layout. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get started on the layout, but I did want to kind of just introduce you to what I was doing first so you kind of knew where I was coming from, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so here we go. I am starting the layout now, and first thing I'm going to trim up my photo and get it ready to use on the layout. And once that's completed, I'm going to start putting my background together and trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Like I said, I don't usually go into this with a super big plan in mind, but I did know that I was going to use some texture paste. I did want to create some type of a little bit of a mixed media background. Obviously with the dark pink and the red looking background, I wasn't going to be able to do a whole lot. Or I didn't want to, because I didn't want it to be that busy. I wanted the polka dots to shine through, but I did want to put a little bit of a texture on there. So I'm going to be using some texture paste, and it's the Ranger texture paste. I really like that texture paste. It has a really good consistency. I've seen some that were, you know, like a little bit thinner, but that's a really good sturdy texture paste. I really like the feel of it. It glides on really easy. It dries fast. I've been really pleased with that texture paste. And so here I am. I'm using a Heidi Swap stencil, and I'm just applying some random hearts. I wanted to use the hearts to go along with the theme, and I wanted it to be kind of like in a random, almost like a what is the kind of like just a scattered look, almost like a cascading scattered look. So I'm just applying some of that texture paste using the heart stencil. And I'm trying not to be too messy with it. Usually when I do mixed media, I do tend to get a little bit messy, but I did want to see the hearts. That was really the main thing that I wanted to do on that. So I did the hearts with the texture paste, and then I am splattering just a little bit of the Mr. Huey's white on the background, just to give that splatter effect. And then I'm going to give it a quick dry with my heat gun to set it, because I don't like to wait. So I just wanted to make sure everything was dry before I continue adding the layers on. So now I know that I want to use this heart cutout, but I'm trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to do it. I didn't want to put it over the whole layout, because I did want those texture hearts that I just did to show through. So I decided to just use a piece of it. And what I'm doing is just tearing off the edges. And what that's going to do, kind of give it a little bit more of a freeform, maybe, so to speak. I didn't want straight cuts on it, and so I just ripped it up, ripped those edges off, and I'm going to use more of like a rectangular piece on the layout and layer that. And then I'm cutting up some of this October afternoon paper, and I wanted to just put that behind the section where the photo is. And then I'm going to layer on top of that. So I'm using the October afternoon behind that. And now I'm finding some other pieces, because I do want to back a few more layers behind my photo. And so I'm just looking through some of these, and I decided to go with this paper from Crate Paper. I like the different colors that it gives. It kind of breaks up so much of the pink and red, and kind of pulls in some blues, and which I liked, in the yellow. So I'm going to add that in. And yeah, I like to add some texture to my pages. I like to rough up the edges a little bit, so I'm just trying to do that a little bit on that background. And then I'm going to do that also on the striped paper, and just kind of add a little bit of texture, a little bit more interest. And then I'm going to look again for another layer. I want to add another layer behind that. That floral paper is so pretty from Crate Paper, and I want to use that, but just not on this layout. So I decided to go with that like a cream color stripe behind that. I thought it broke up the stripes, the color stripes against that, you know, little zigzag paper. I thought that cream color paper kind of broke that up a little bit, so I decided to layer that behind the photo as well. And then what I am doing right now is I'm pulling out a Project Life card. I know it wasn't in what I showed at the beginning, but when I was putting this together, I was like, that's another thing that I have way too many of, is Project Life cards. So I went and just found that captured one in my stash, and I thought it fit perfectly. You know, the colors were great, pulled in a little bit of blue, so I decided to layer that in there. And then the cut file that you see there, the smile, that is from the Cut Shop, which is Ashley Horton's shop. I've been using a lot of her cut files lately, and so I pulled that in there, and I'm just going to layer it right over the photo and pattern papers and everything. I didn't want to back the entire sheet or entire cutout, but I did want to back the smile. So I decided to use a little bit of that teal, that green polka dot, to put behind the smile so it'll stand out, and it kind of ties in too with the captured card. I like the colors kind of blending, and ties that in there. So I kind of like the look that it gives, with just leaving the camera part open and all of those layers shining through, or not shining maybe, but coming through. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and start adhering everything down, and I'm just adhering my layers just one on top of the other. And I'm going to start putting those down so then I can start adding some embellishments. And it came together pretty quick. You know, I like when that happens. I think when you have certain products set aside and that's what you use, I think it comes together much quicker than trying to, you know, pull out products as you go. That is one thing that I've learned, is I'm much quicker when I have pulled out certain products, like I did in this case, and that's what I pull from. And so I'm learning that that is a much quicker way for me to get a layout done. And you saw me there flipping the background of those hearts because I was trying, when I went to go glue it down, I was like, okay, wait a minute, there is like, I didn't want them to be upside down. I couldn't tell what was backwards and what was right side up. But anyway, I just decided to lay it down because there are actually hearts going both ways. So I'm just continuing to layer pieces on here, and I have that tag, and I do not know who that tag is from. That was again in my stash. I think it came in a kit or something at one time, but I have no idea where it's from. But I thought it looked really cute just tucked in there, so I'm going to just be layering. Just thought it'd be cute to layer that in there. And then I am going to be working on my title, and I called this Lolly is Smitten, because I am so smitten with my grandson. As you know, I mean, every layout practically is about him. If you follow me on Instagram, that is a lot of my Instagram photos is my grandson. I've tried to get better lately, going, okay, I know people want to see more than just my grandson, so I've been trying to post more. But you guys, I'm telling you, I have it bad. I know, and my people laugh at me, and but you know, I don't know, until you have a grandchild, you just don't even get it. And I always said I was never going to be one of those grandmothers, but I am totally, and I know it, and I can't help it. I am so smitten with this little guy. He has just turned our world upside down. And so I thought the title was perfectly fitting. And so that's what this layout is about, is just how this little guy has just stolen my heart. And so I'm calling it Lolly is Smitten. That is my name. That is my grandma name for him, Lolly. And my husband's name is Pop. So together we're Lollipop, which I think is really fun when I say, do you want to go to Lollipop's house? And he'll shake his head yes. And so that's really fun. I thought that was a fun grandma name. So I'm Lolly. My husband is Pop. So that's where the name Lolly came from. And I'm just hoping as he learns to talk more that he actually says Lolly. He's trying to say it, and sometimes it doesn't quite come out that way. He's got Pop down. That's an easy one. So anyway, we'll see. But that is my name is Lolly. So I decided to title it Lolly is Smitten. And so I'm going to go ahead and tear off the bottom portions of that heart cutout because I didn't want it to interfere so much with the title. And I decided to go ahead and kind of trim that down a little bit. And probably could have left it. I don't know. I just liked it better trimmed down. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting those letters on. And those are the thickers. They're they're ELF actually is the name, and they're glossy chipboard letter stickers. And if you saw me, oh my goodness, struggling with those Pebbles stickers as I was talking, now I remember why they're in my stash and I haven't used them, because oh my gosh, I love the letters, but they are so hard to pull off the paper. They weren't fully cut, so when you pull it off, it tears the next one. If you could even get it off the page, it was really hard. And then once I got them off, then they weren't sticking, so I had to glue them down. So I was thinking as I'm doing this layout, saying, yeah, that's why we haven't used them. I like the letters, but they just are not very user-friendly. So I don't know if those are going to make the cut. They might just have to be trashed, because I have enough letter stickers that life is too short to deal with letter stickers like that. So anyway, I went ahead and used them because I had said I was going to use those. And so I went ahead and fussed with them and made them work. And I am just adding a little bit of adhesive there to hold everything down. And again, I've got that little glue bottle that is amazing. I talk about it every time I use it because it's just wonderful. I love that. Never clogs. Never clogs. It's wonderful. And it's got the tiniest little tip so you can glue down really fine pieces, and I love that. So I've got my title down, and now I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do to kind of wrap up. I can kind of feel it coming to an end, and so I've got a few pieces left here. I did want to use the wood veneer heart, and then I'm going to add some thread. I love to add just loose thread to my pages. I've been doing that for a few years now, and haven't done it in a while, and I was like, you know what, I really like that look. So I pulled out my thread again and decided to just layer some thread on. And I'm going to be layering the heart, gluing it down with my glue gun, and just putting that there, layering the heart and the flare. And again, the flare is so cute, and I wish I could tell you where it came from, but it was in my little bowl with just flares, and I don't remember where that came from. Just pulled it out of my stash. So, and then I had these little flower cabochons in my stash as well, and I think those came in a Studio Calico kit at one time. So I decided to pull those out and use it again, kind of tying that blue together. And then the LA Studio tag that says "With All My Heart," I thought was very fitting. So I decided to kind of tuck that in there, except I can't cut straight for anything. So it takes me a couple of cuts to get it right. But I thought it was fitting for the page, so I decided to just tuck that in there. And really just add some more layering to the page. And the acrylic star there, I want to say that came in either Freckled Fawn kit or Studio Calico. I'm sorry, I cannot remember. And then I was going to try to add some a couple of sequins, and I just just didn't like the look of that blue sequin on there when I got it down, so I decided to pull it off, and I'm going to end up using some of those enamel dots. So I'm going to layer a couple of those there, which I liked better. And I'm going to put the star on. And the arrow there that you see in the title, that is Freckled Fawn. That was from my stash as well. I had a lot of Freckled Fawn embellishments in my stash because they give you so much stuff that I have a hard time getting through it between that and my kits. Anyway, then I wanted to add a couple of labels that I'm going to just put a short little bit amount of journaling on. And what I'm going to do here is you see me put adhesive on them and putting them on my mat, because when you write on something that small, sometimes it's hard to hold it down without it moving. And so I just adhered it right to my mat, and it holds it in place until I can get my journaling down. And then it just comes right up. So I decided to do that, and I'm just putting a couple lines of journaling and basically just saying how this little guy has me wrapped, obviously, and I'm smitten with him. So I'm going to add those two pieces to the layout just under the photo there. And see how it just pops right up. And I'm going to glue it down. That little guy wasn't wanting to come up, so I just used my spatula to pull it up because I didn't want to tear it, and came right off. And I'm going to be wrapping up here shortly. I'm going to have to do a little bit of extra work on that label. It keeps wanting to pop up, and I tried to adhere it down with glue, but there was just so many layers underneath it, I think it just wasn't holding, and that glue takes a little bit to dry, so I'm kind of fussing with that, making sure everything is stuck down real good. Nothing worse than putting your layouts in pages and then later finding everything at the bottom of the page. So, which is one reason, honestly, why I started using hot glue gun. And so I was trying to use this little guy here because I thought he was so cute, but I ended up not using him. And yeah, I think I got distracted with trying to get that label down and not making a mess that I forgot he was even on there. So I'm going to go ahead and tack down a few of the letters because they were popping up too. But you're going to see in the close-up shots that little guy is still there because I just didn't even notice him there, but he didn't stay there. You'll see in the when I actually show the photos at the end, he's not there, but that I kind of forgot him there when I pulled the paper up and showed him to you, the layout. Didn't even see him there. So here you go. I've got some close-up shots, and there you can see that texture paste and how that really pops up. I love the texture paste, and just showing a few close-up pieces. There's a little guy. I can't believe I didn't notice him on there. And then I got to the end and I was like, oh wait, I forgot my date stamp. So I'm going to pull out my date stamp here and put the date on it because I do like to put a date stamp on all of my layouts. And so I'm going to wrap it up with that, and that's going to do it. I'll have some close-up shots for you here coming up shortly. And thank you again so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.